What is your life philosophy? In this video, I'm going to share mine to hopefully inspire you to create your own. Let me just tell you a few things off the bat, disclaimers. One, I dropped out of philosophy class in Berkeley, so I don't even know what the word philosophy means. Two, is my way of living the best? No, it's not. But maybe there's some pieces that you can pick and choose from. All right, let's jump into the 9 ways that I like to live. Number 1, give yourself a little credit every single day. So I noticed for myself, I was really hard on myself. Like I'd have a full day, my checklist was complete, I got all my things done, and I'd be like, all right, good day, I'm satisfied. And I started thinking like, why don't I give myself a little bit of credit more for the things that are going on? Maybe I really made a good breakfast, maybe I did push-ups in the morning, and it started honestly making me feel better about myself. So one of my life philosophies is every single day, just give myself a little bit of credit or be proud for something I'm accomplishing. What's something that you're proud of that you did today? Number 2 life philosophy, don't wake up with an alarm clock. I thought this was actually a really interesting one, and I heard this from Mark Gainey of Strava.com. If you don't use Strava, check it out. I asked Mark, what is a great life to him? And he said not to wake up with an alarm clock. And the past few weeks, I've really not woken up with an alarm clock as best as possible, and that is a great way to live. And so if you can do it without that, that really gives you the freedom to say, how do I want to control my time? How do I want to control my day? So second life philosophy is not wake up with an alarm clock. Third life philosophy, have fun. I can't tell you how many times I've been doing a conversation for the podcast or maybe making a YouTube video like this and I'm like, oh, I gotta do this thing. Or maybe it's going to soccer practice, or maybe it's making a product, or maybe it's doing a sales call, or maybe it's going on a date. And you're like, oh, I got a job to do. You're only on this little planet spinning around one time for hopefully 100 years. But if you're gonna do it for that time, might as well enjoy it. So if you're going to do a video like this, have fun, smile, it should be fun. And if you're not doing things that are fun, maybe revisit the things you're doing. Number 4, be around enhancers. So think about this, I want you to close your eyes. Who's the last person that you hung out with and you're like, man, I had so much more energy after I hung out with them? Boom. All right, 2 people that came to mind for me is Matt from Yes Theory and Houston Kraft from CharacterStrong.com. And those are 2 people that when I was talking with them recently, I had so much energy after and during the conversation. I was like, man, I gotta be around those people more often. So think about, all right, how do I have more of that every single week? I wanna be around enhancers in my relationships and my friends and my coworkers. And at the same time, if you're not around enhancers and you're around detractors, how do you GTFO those people? 5, add a little hot sauce to each of your days. And so what this means is make each day a little bit special, a little bit fun. If you think about your memories, you don't remember what you eat. You don't even really remember what you did, but you remember kind of like a little bit the anomalies, the things on the edges that were a little bit different, a little bit of that hot sauce. So Matt from Yes Theory actually had a great challenge that he recommended to me, and I'm gonna recommend for you, which was, I said, Matt, what would be your life challenge? And he said his life challenge would be get in a car and just drive without really an end destination. And I thought that was beautiful. So instead of saying like, oh, where am I gonna go and do all this stuff, just get in the car and go take it out. And that is a way to add a little hot sauce to your life. So in terms of the way I like to live, how do each day I can do something a little bit different or a little bit special? What are you gonna do today? Number 6, this actually came from Jenny Dawson, who is my relationship therapist. She said, Noah, you're perfect the way you are. And I was like, I just paid $195 for you to tell me that? I would have paid $500. But it was actually a beautiful thing about life philosophy and thinking about for myself, which is a lot of us are like reading books or doing therapy or we got coaching or we're not feeling great about ourselves. And they're somewhat refreshing that you, me, everyone else out there in the world, we're all weird and strange in our own ways and we are great the way we are. But I think so many of our times we're like, I'm not perfect or I'm not amazing. And it's just actually refreshing. It's like a shower. You ever had like an emotional shower when someone says, you're perfect the way you are? Like, that feels pretty damn great, didn't it? So you are perfect the way you are. You can keep improving, but don't be so hard on ourselves and actually be a little gentle. Give a little self-hug sometimes. It's kind of weird right here. Number 7, this is a really important one. Minimize the things you have to do and maximize the things you want to do. So a really easy way to think about this is pull up your calendar. So let's say there's a Google Calendar here and look at your calendar about how many things in this week were you excited to go do? Were you like, I cannot wait to go mountain biking, which is what I'm gonna go do today and tomorrow. Or maybe it's a video like this. I was really excited to come make this video yesterday. I started writing it down, organizing it. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to go do this. I wanna do these things. Now think about in your week, is it a meeting? Is it an activity? Is it playing piano? Is it stuff you're like, I feel like I have to do it. And maybe you have a job right now that you don't like. So that's a great chance to create freedom and start thinking, all right, well, what do I wanna be spending my time on? Do I wanna be doing an email list? Do I wanna be making YouTube videos? Do I wanna be hanging out with my wife or husband? Maybe it's just going for walks. And so really think about it in terms of your living style and living preferences. How do I minimize the things I'm like having to do, maybe waking up early with an alarm for something you don't have to do, and maximize more of the stuff that you want to be doing? Number 8. So this actually came from an Israeli soldier, or I think an Israeli lieutenant. And he said the difference between remembering and forgetting is writing it down. So if you've ever hung out with me, if I've ever recommended something to you as a book, if someone's ever telling you something like, oh, this is a really powerful thing I learned, get a pen and paper out and write it down. And so for me, I write everything down. I do it on my phone, I'll do it on paper or whatever it is online. Just write it down. because that is the difference between remembering and forgetting. Do it. And last thing, number 9, is use it or lose it. So if we've ever hung out in person, I hope we get to hang out in person one day. If you don't remember a song or a place or a person or a thing, I'm always like, think about it and just pause. I think so many of our times we're just like telling people how to live and how to do this stuff. And I like telling people like, no, what is it? And for me, I like doing it for myself where it's like, all right, let me just try to come back to think about what it really is. So those are my 9 ways that I like to live. And guess what? This is version 1, and there's gonna be version 2 and version 3 as we keep living. I'd love for you to tell me, how do you like to live below in the comments? I love you, and I'll see you out there.